are again. It looks like a podcast. And as usual, there is nothing prepared. And with that, we go with the flow.
That's right.
And I have a special guest right here with me, sitting beside me. And why don't you go ahead?
Absolutely.
Go ahead and just introduce yourself and give yourself a plug.
Okay, little plug. Okay.
Okay.
Hey, y'all. My name is Crystal McLean.
That's enough. You don't
Wow.
No, I'm just kidding. Just go with the flow. Go ahead. Go ahead, Crystal. I apologize.
No, you're funny. I am Crystal McLean. First, I'm so excited to be sitting next to Jerome Scott, the insurance guy. I am the founder of Moneybox Academy. We're an intergenerational national financial literacy nonprofit. And our goal is really just to make sure we reach underserved communities around building financial intelligence. I'm so excited for this conversation today because I know it's going to be a wealth of knowledge and wisdom. So, yeah.
Okay. And maybe even a part two.
Maybe.
Maybe a part two.
So.
Okay. If we can get through this part one.
Let's just try that.
All right. We're gonna, one thing that has come up, I know I had shared with you early on that some questions I've been asked.
Yep.
And also what's been prevalent on my mind is how we deal with these kids and how to get them to think money.
Yeah.
Well, actually, they already think money.
They do.
Yeah, but how to spend it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they live in now.
Yeah.
The now is what's killing them.
For sure.
It really is from that standpoint. So how do we get them to kind of rein in that's up? And of course, parents want to do the best job that they can.
Absolutely.
And they think they're doing the best job by giving the kids everything they want.
Yeah.
You know, and then they end up on the short end of the stick.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've been in situations where that parent or parents have done everything for that child. Mm-hmm. And now that child is no longer a child. They're in their late 20s, early 30s. Right. And that parent or parents are really going through. They didn't do as much as they should. Yeah. Now they have to go to, unfortunately, a care facility, and the kids are nowhere around.
Nowhere to be found.
Nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
And they're struggling, and the kids are somewhere in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Living their best life.
Best life.
Yeah.
Right now.
Right.
Okay, that's important. So I made a comment here: teach kids to be smart with their money, which is important. How do you do that?
I think the first thing, I'm so glad you brought that up. I think the first thing is ensuring that there is exposure at an early age. I've had people to say, well, kids don't need to learn about money when they're older. That's an adult thing. And I believe, like any other topic, if you wait until they're older, then, you haven't built those habits and those building blocks, right? And so one way I believe is to expose them early. It could be at when you're going grocery shopping, allowing them to look and compare prices. It can be when you're planning a trip and asking them to find some options that are cost friendly. So it's almost like including them into some aspects without them being engulfed in all of it. But as they're getting to their teen years, you want to continue to build up and say, hey, this is what this costs. Yeah. When we did the high school boot camp, most of them did not know what average utilities cost. And so, again, it's the awareness of being exposed to this is what the cost, instead of going to college or not going to college, and you go live on your own. And now there's a culture shock of, wait, rent costs this much, utilities cost this much. So I think it's about doing awareness and exposure early.
Well, exposure is awfully important, but also statistics tell us that kids know about the values by age 7. And here we're thinking that they don't get it until they're teen. By age 7, they know what the heck is going on.
That's right.
Because they know when they get to the counter what the parents are going to buy.
Yeah.
In fact, the kids that pick out things at the counter, the grocery store, at the last minute, those are the kids that you're going to find out are going to have credit problems. But when they get older. They will have the credit problem. Yeah. So any teenager out there that has gone through this and you've got a problem, it's because of your parents. Your parents
it's
did
real.
This to you. You checked out and you wanted chiclets, and they bought
the
4
Snicker
packs.
bar.
Yeah, they bought 4 packs for you. So that's important.
Yeah. And just real quick, another thing is because we're in such a quick society now,
Yeah.
you think about Amazon Prime, you think about, everything is fast, right? The essence of delayed gratification of you have to wait for something is gone, right? And so now to your point, they're at the register and it's that last minute purchase. And now you get in the ideology of, I don't have to wait for anything anymore. Everything is at my disposal.
Yeah.
You got social media, you got AI, all these things are giving you quick access to everything you pretty much need without having to wait. So now that delayed gratification that I'm going to wait until I can afford this to purchase is almost null and void by the time you become a teenager anyway.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's important. And so all this goes hand in hand, being able to work with the child, and the child, unfortunately or fortunately, working with you.
Absolutely.
Because you got to be on the same page. A thought comes to mind. We're always talking about getting that kid, that youngster, that offspring into college. There's more to life than just college. Certainly, the idea of going to a trade school and becoming a plumber or an electrician. Those individuals, in most cases, if they do it right, they're making more than the doctors and lawyers.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So as long as you can put some things in their minds about higher education, just doesn't have to be a college, university setting, but implant in their minds that you need to go on.
Yeah.
And actually become a somewhat productive member of society. That's awfully important. Yeah. We find out if you implant these things early in their minds, they're more apt to do this.
Yeah.
They're more apt to do it. And that says something about higher education, if you will.
Yeah.
I want to put higher education along with that, going for that 2 or 3 or 4 year degree and working on those pipes.
That's right.
Or that electric, There was a time that we as a people were not allowed to drive those loaders. I don't know who out there remembers that, but because that you made more money driving those loaders, pushing that dirt around. That was for the other people to do. It was dirty work, but they got money for doing it. Yeah. And now you can see us doing that to some degree, but for the most part, we were not involved in that type of education. And that's really unbelievable.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing is, when we go back to the topic of exposure, is knowing that there's so much more out there. You have our kids in this generation that just believe, my goal is just to be a content creator. It's great. That is something to add. And some people make great money off of it. But if that's the only thing they've been exposed to, and they haven't been exposed to some other things that they may be passionate about, it limits the odds of them going down that pathway. Yeah. And so one of the things is figuring out early on as a parent, like, what are you really interested in? And then finding someone in the community that does that thing and being able to partner them with that to say, hey, is this something you're still interested in after you've been exposed to it? So I think it's just important to make sure, even in that regard, there is some exposure to some other fields outside of what they see regularly.
Well, the key, again, as you said, we can't say enough. Exposure is awfully important.
Yeah.
And what the parents need to do is really, that exposure comes with connection.
Absolutely.
With people out in the community that are doing those things.
Absolutely.
That youngster might want to do. I say might because they don't have an idea.
Yeah, they need to see.
A little personal, I won't even get into personal, but I know someone, wink, wink, that actually got their child a job in various professions. One was a fish store. A fish restaurant. I shouldn't say store, but on one side it was a store and the other side it was a restaurant. And the individual knew after about a month, had no interest in being in that type of business as far as restaurant business. They also got involved in real estate and at a very young age. And that realtor, if you would do simple things to help her along. In other words, send her across the street for a Snickers bar.
Mm.
But this individual answered the phone for the realtor. She went out on a couple of appointments with the realtor. Exposure.
Exposure.
You sit over here while I do this, you know. And she actually looked at some, paperwork as it relates to that.
Yeah.
So my point is, and then for some odd reason, the individual got a position with a doctor's office.
Mm-hmm.
And was involved in that. I don't know if she gave any treatment or not, but the point being here, she ended up being, after the exposure to these different occupations, became a doctor.
Wow.
Yeah.
So look how many areas she navigated
Yeah.
through to actually find, like, this is it.
Yeah.
This is what I feel called to. This is what I'm passionate about.
That's it.
And that's the thing, I think we don't see how beneficial it is to even navigate through different spaces. And this whole, like, one size fit all, you're either going to be this, that, and the third, it's almost, is sad, because it really, causes our future to not even reach their potential, because we've kind of put them in this mold to say, all right, choose between these. And what if it's none of those?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But I love that scenario or that story because there were different things she had to navigate through.
And it comes again to, we talk about it all the time, connection.
Absolutely.
If you got to get out there, connect with people in various ways. And of course, that connection may not occur until 3 or 4 years down the road.
Yeah.
But it may occur 6 months.
Absolutely.
But you've made the connection.
Yeah.
And that's awfully important.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Got anything else?
I do. I actually have some questions that some people sent you.
Okay. People are listening out there.
Yes.
They're listening.
They're listening. So they're actually, and so if you have any questions, is this the best email for them to email you to?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
so if you have any questions for future episodes that Mr. Scott can answer, reach out. Send an email to jscott23@aol.com, and he will get those answered on future shows. But the first question that someone asked, I'm going to actually go to this one first.
Okay.
How much money should you put aside for a potential emergency? That's a good one.
Okay. All right. If you say so.
I think so.
It's a good one. It's a good one. Okay. I would certainly, if I was sitting down with that individual, one question that I would ask, it would have to be on the top of the list. What are you spending a month? And normally when I ask that question, and you may get it yourself.
Yeah.
But I get these blank stares.
Yeah.
People do not have any idea what they're spending.
Yeah.
Because what happens is they're unloading all their money at that checkout counter at the last minute, because they're spending that excess money. They have no idea. But,
or Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon, those boxes and stuff like that. But again, let's sit down. And I know, Crystal, you have people do budgets, right?
I do.
Yeah. And when I have that, I don't know about you, but they don't want to come back and see me.
Yeah, I will say in a lot of the budget sessions, the first session is the toughest. And I do set up almost expectation, but I can count on, I would say about 80% of the first sessions I've had with people have always been tears. Like, because it's awareness. Like you said, the first question you would ask, which is very similar to mine, is let's look at your spending plan.
Yeah.
Because the emergency I would need would be different probably from the emergency you would need based on my household size, based on what I spend on average, what my bills look like. Like, there's so many different factors that go in. And for this blanket question, it is not a one size fit all.
Well, they got a spending plan.
Yeah.
Their plan is to spend everything.
There you go.
Yeah, that's their plan.
I mean,
go ahead.
That's real.
Okay.
That's real. Ultimately, that is the only plan. But there is no here is the restraint. Here is what we have in place for this. This is our wealth building plan. This is how much we put in savings, investment per month. This is how, there's nothing. This is how much we're accelerating for debt repayment. And so that's the first step. And I think that's what you're saying.
That's exactly right.
That's the first step.
Yeah. I had a couple people, this comes up every so often, but more or less, I'll say, well, Do you entertain? Do you go out? Well, Mr. Scott, do I have to put that on? Well, that's a budget
That's
item.
yeah.
You know, my goodness.
Yeah.
You know.
But you know what? I always say this in sessions when I'm teaching. My husband and I, and he can definitely, I know he's probably sick of it, but it is what it is. My husband and I still have an allowance. We still set up an allowance because when we look at our numbers, it's like, this is how much realistically this month that you can have and I can have. So it's fair, it's equitable, right? Where we each have our ability to have our individual purchases, but it does not affect the overall household plan.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's also interesting to find out with couples when I work with them. I don't want his money with my money.
Yeah, I've seen that so much.
Well, I don't want her money with my money.
Yeah.
I think money's money.
Yeah.
You know, so I have to really break that barrier.
Yeah.
So
It's rough. I've had a few different sessions with couples that have gotten sick of that concept. Like, okay, he pays these bills, I pay these bills, and now it's getting so confusing because now it feels lopsided, and you know, you deal with all those things, and so now they're trying to navigate to like, what would it look like if we all brought it together? And when they saw the actual plan with it all together, they saw how much more room they had because they actually worked collaboratively.
And they had much more money.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's really getting a person to wake up and say, hey, there's more money here.
Yeah.
So that means there's more money to spend.
Exactly. We get a little bit more allowance. There you go. Absolutely. You got another question on here.
Okay.
Well, you actually got a few. Does money buy happiness? I watch quite a few reality shows and it seems as though everybody is living their best life.
Yeah, they are. They are. Well, money will not buy happiness, but it will certainly buy the consultant to study the problem. So a little levity there, very little, but the point is it will not buy. And I tell you what will buy happiness is the fact that you are actually out there working day to day, having a great life at home, and you latch on to maybe an organization that is helping people, or you're helping your next door neighbor. In other words, you're extending yourself to be the best that you can be to help as many people that you can. Yeah. And you'll find when you do that, you're going to be a lot happier.
You are telling the truth.
Am I?
You are.
Okay.
Because so the work I do with Moneybox, and I say this quite often just out of transparency, I've never gotten paid for Moneybox. I'm the founder. I'm the board chair.
That's because it's in the box.
Yeah. Well, it's still in the vault, right?
It's still in the box. Yeah.
But as a new organization being built up.
I'm sorry.
No, it's hidden.
It's me.
That's it.
It's me.
That's what we hear.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
But as a newer organization, seeing how, you know, we have to build it up first and things like that.
Don't forget about the book.
Okay. Listen.
Okay. I'm sorry. Go here we go again.
Seeing that is what actually makes me happy, is serving. So it's not working for a check, but the part of being happy, I wake up in the morning, know that I'm serving a mission that I believe is really investing in other lives. So I love the point that you made, being able to get plugged in to something that you're passionate about, that's serving someone else. It is one of the most fulfilling and rewarding things. You think somebody is living their best life because of what you see on Instagram, what you see on TikTok, because they're on, beaches and waters, but you don't really know what that comes with, right? Everybody is always going to show the highlights of their life on social media. You're not going to see too much reality on social media, but the rewarding part, you witness that in real life. Yeah. You see people that walk with joy and they're excited, even if the bank account don't look like, you know what I mean? That's so some of the most happiest people are the people that serve the most and may not see it fully in return in paper form fully yet, but they serve with mission and with heart, and it's joyous to them.
That's it. Yeah. And they're eating every day.
Yeah. They're surviving. They're clothed. They driving.
They driving.
All right. You got another question here.
Okay.
All right. It says, is a spouse, okay, so we about to get a little, okay, you ready for this? Is a spouse obligated to help their spouse pay off their student loan?
Well, isn't Trump going to do something about that? Isn't he paying off the loans now? Have we heard anything about
We
that?
don't know what's going on.
We don't know what's going on. I don't.
Just no comment.
Okay, no comment on that.
We don't know what's happening.
Well, it goes back to the question, or at least the question that was asked, and we answered it to a large degree. If we're putting our money together, certainly, and those bills are together, you're obligated to kind of be with that person from now until.
For better or worse.
Better or worse. That's it. So that answers that question.
But you know, what it makes me think about is how many times we're having conversations before going into marriage financially.
Oh,
and I will be honest, I believe it's important to be transparent before marriage, to talk about what you're bringing along.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of times we talk about the more visible things, like, okay, this is how many kids I'm bringing into the relationship. This is how many, you know, but a lot of times we don't think about, you know, okay, this is how much debt I'm bringing to the table.
Yeah.
And so not just student loans, but overall, there should be a conversation, in my opinion, where you sit down and you say, this is the debt, this is the assets, and we're going to be one, and one does mean one. This is what I'm bringing, this is what you're bringing, and this is how we're going to be able to create a plan
that's
to
very
leverage
true.
it.
Yeah. So think about that, people out there listening to this and gleaning from this. Would you have actually married that spouse if you had known what kind of debt he or she was in?
You getting messy.
Would you have done that? You know? So, in fact, you might go back to what your mom and dad said. She or he's no good for you. They knew that they were in debt. They knew. They went as far as they could. Anyway, we can't get over that.
He dropping bombs. But no, that's real. That's real. I think people, you know, they look at the facet of love, which is, it's a real part. But when you look at marriage as an institution, right? Even biblically, you look at it, there's the institution of marriage. There is more coming together than how I feel about you, right? Because there are going to be days I can't stand you, right? And you can't stand me, and vice versa. But at the end of the day, it should be a plan before, and not just all the lovey and the feelies and, you know, all of that. So I love that point.
Yeah.
You got another question here. We got two more, y'all.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, I know. You're popular.
Okay.
I mean, they got questions for you. So I have $10,000 in a regular savings account. I would like to transfer this money to some other financial account that would earn more interest. What do you recommend, Mr. Scott?
Well, as far as finding that vehicle, it may be well worth, if we're talking 10, 15, 20,000, to break that money up. What you want to do is break off a good portion for me. And no,
I was like,
okay, no. We don't.
Look, they've just clicked off. Never mind.
But certainly you sit down with an advisor.
Yeah.
And let's go through. Here we go. We're going to find out a little bit about your budget.
Plan.
Find out what your risk tolerance is.
That's right.
And I've talked about that before. All of us have a degree of risk tolerance that we have. Most of us will say, I can't really lose any money. Well, that means your risk tolerance is very low.
Very low. Yeah.
Very low. So we need to look at that. And there are some vehicles that you could look at that will provide a steady interest. It's not going to be something that you're going to shout about, but you won't be losing money. So those are some things that you look at. So again, looking at one amount like that, again, I would certainly recommend that it be broken up.
So some diversification.
Yeah, diversification.
Yeah.
And that's important. And I don't know, we talked about this, or I think I've said it, but we talked about budgeting, but also some type of an emergency fund.
Yeah. Yeah. So with the emergency question, was about how much should you set aside?
Yeah.
But definitely within that is making sure there's something that's liquid for that emergency situation, because it's real.
So what are you spending a month? And then times 6. And actually looking at today's economy, you might need to go a year.
Yeah.
Because how long would you have to live on that emergency fund if something happens within the economy?
That's real.
And there you are without a paying job. And then you start thinking about what I can do to make money on my own or go into business, that sort of thing. But when you even think of that, you're going to need money to go into business.
Yeah, no, that's real. I literally just had this situation happen. April of last year, our full department closed down. We walked into a staff meeting, we walked out with severance packages. Okay. That was April of 2024. And then so my husband is like, go into the business. You already got clients, da, 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 da.
Yeah.
My husband is covering the house at this point. October of the same year, because of a lot of stuff that was preparing the shift in administration and all of this, he lost his job.
Wow.
So now 2 pretty decent incomes, household incomes wiped out in the same year.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. My husband did not start working until 2 weeks ago. So this real-time stuff happening. Okay. Right. So with that being said, a lot of people don't recognize that situations like this happen. And if it does happen, because you don't think it'll happen to you. Right. You just don't think that it'll happen to you. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't think it would happen. Yeah. But the reality is we actually graciously, we had things set up. And so what was it? Like unemployment ended in January. I'm letting y'all in all my business. So y'all getting to see and water all of that. But in January, unemployment ended. So you got February to July of literally some of the business income and the things that we have prepared. So my question to you, if that happened to his point, how would you just ask yourself, if income was to cease for 6 to 8 months, what is my plan? That's good.
That's nothing but silence out there.
I mean, that's going to the drawing table. You got one last question here.
I do?
And it's a thick one.
Oh boy.
Okay, it's a story time question.
Okay.
You ready for this?
Okay, go ahead.
All right. It says, I have a friend who has a 25-year-old daughter who moved in with her boyfriend a couple of years ago. They broke up and now she has moved back home with her mother. My friend is not very fond of dogs. However, she has agreed to walk the dog once a day. My friend wants to know, how can she encourage her daughter to make a financial plan so that she can move out and get her own place without looking like she is kicking her out? My friend's daughter is employed. So the friend's daughter is employed. She's back home with mom, but she does not have a financial plan. Mom does not want to feel like she's kicking her out. How can she encourage her to make a financial plan?
We may need to go back to that a few times, but number one, the young lady is 25.
Yep.
And she went with her boyfriend.
Yeah.
Well, right then that tells me she cut herself off. She's an adult.
Well,
she's on her own. I have no dealings. She can come over for Sunday dinner. And just so happens I have the Colonel every Sunday. So I can certainly set an extra place for the Colonel for her. But to move back in, no. Here we go. We're coddling our children as it relates to what they are doing. And they're relying on the wrong person, if you will, the wrong entity. And again, I don't want to turn anyone off here, but the entity that they need to be relying on is Almighty.
Well,
they need to be doing that.
Talk about it.
And see how that can assist them in moving forward. But if you say, well, I don't want to treat my kid like that. I don't want to. Well, if you're going to do that, again, it goes back to what we said earlier. Are they on a budget? Did she say she was on a budget?
It doesn't. There's no financial plan currently.
And no financial plan. We need to get this young lady on a budget. And certainly when you do that, and if you do it right, she's going to move out because she's not going to like you as a mom. So that will happen.
That's the real thing.
Yeah, that's it.
I think the point that you're making too is there sounds like there's a lack of boundaries, right?
Yeah.
The fact that, like you said, she was able to move away and make her own decisions and then come back and have a safe space to land essentially with no plan when she moved back in of how long she would be there. It sounds like there's no boundaries here. So in her mind, she actually, she living a life. You rent free. You're working because it says my friend's daughter is employed. So you're working. It doesn't sound like there is a plan with the money that's being earned or even any, and I don't know, I'm just making an assumption from the story, but it doesn't even sound like there is even any gratitude to here, mom, you're paying the bills of this house. I'm living here. At one point, I was living somewhere else, and I'm sure I had some financial responsibilities. Here's some money for the rent or the mortgage. Here's some money for the utilities. It doesn't sound like that's here. And the longer you allow that behavior to stand,
it's going to continue. She needs to be charging this daughter a fee for walking that dog.
Yeah.
She needs to charge him for walking that dog. That's important.
Yeah, I agree. So last part, as we are pretty much towards the end of this, the last part of this is 1 to 2 myths that you have as it pertains to legacy planning, insurance, money, things like that, because you are the insurance guy.
Okay.
All right. So for somebody that says, I have a job, so I'm covered. I don't need any additional coverage because I have a job that offers insurance. How do you respond to that, Mr. Scott?
Well, I take them back to some things that have actually, if we're talking about Cumberland County, I take them back to some businesses that have closed abruptly.
Yeah.
And then they end up with no coverage at all. I take them back to that. And I can name a few. Some large plants that have been here that all of a sudden they go into the office and next thing you know, there's not a job and so forth. So the thought here is that, again, the insurance that you purchase now is going to be cheaper, if I can use that term,
That's good.
right now than it will be 10 years from now.
Absolutely.
Or 15 years from now. Buy it now because statistics, here we go, tell us that less than 1% of the people that utilize their coverage on the job. Things happen, but less than 1% of people that utilize that coverage. And so that says something.
That says a lot.
That was something about it.
And just a personal story. I have a personal family member that she had the insurance through her job, which was a major manufacturing company, and sat down to have a meeting with insurance company to, look at the rates. At the time was like, I'll wait. Let me talk to my spouse about it and things like that. 2 weeks later, had a heart attack. And could not be underwritten by insurance carriers because of the risk, right? And so then the plan was like, you have no coverage. If something does happen to you, then there needs to be some plan. And so ultimately what was done was a pre-need, which was, at least at a minimum, the burial would be covered, but there's no actual legacy plan. There's nothing left to your heirs or anything like that. So again, a major incident that you did not anticipate happening. And because pretty much she was no longer a part of the company because of the disability and everything, she lost that coverage that she thought she was going to have.
It happens. Yeah.
Last one, and then we're closing out. This is the last myth.
We're closing out. I think we're closing out. Can we close out?
Yep.
We can close out? We don't? Okay.
You said what? This your show.
Oh, okay.
Listen, if you say no more myths, y'all get no more myths, okay?
All
right, last myth. Life insurance, no, actually, I'm young and single. I don't need a will or life insurance. Last question. Close us out.
Good one. This happened, was it yesterday, day before? Deion Sanders had this operation on cancer. And he said right on the air, in fact, he was just here and just left. He was going to actually give the talk in front of here.
Can we go get Deion?
No.
Okay.
Anyway. He gave the spiel on TV. He wanted everybody to get checked out. He made his plea. But one thing that he said that caught my ear, he says, I'm paraphrasing now, but the point is, I was laying up there. I had to get my will together.
Wow. And we're talking about multi-million.
This guy, if he had died on the table, I would have been there fighting for the money. I was his cousin.
You his cousin.
I was his
twice removed.
I was first cousin right there. But, unfortunately, I can say a lot of people do this.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But don't you be the one to do it.
Don't do it.
Get yourself together. Get that will together.
Yep.
Get that hospital so you can find out if something happens. They'll know who to talk to, that sort of thing. And you want somebody that's going to handle your affairs as strong.
Yeah.
you don't want anyone handling your affairs that every time you talk to them, they start crying.
Yeah.
You know, so you want somebody that's going to say, we need to do this. They
Yeah.
needed this. They needed that. You know, so you want to make sure that things are in order.
That you get to make decisions.
Yeah, you make that decision. You know, Aunt Sally wanted me to have that lamp. Then now they're fighting over our lamp.
I'm telling you.
You know, Aunt Sally wanted me to have this stuff from the kitchen. Well, you get nothing from the kitchen. All you get is a glass of water.
That's
now
it.
There's a fight. You know, so you don't want to get into that. Come on.
That's real.
And
it don't take long. Here's the thing. We did ours 2 years ago. So I was 32 at the time. Okay. And you would think like, y'all young, y'all got time. But it honestly was important to me to make sure that there was a plan with our child. You know, if something happened to us both together, it could be a car accident.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wanted to make sure that I had decisions that I got to make, and it empowered our family overall to make those decisions. And there are credit unions that will do it at a low cost. If you're military, you actually get the benefit. Veteran benefits. Like there's so many different ways you can go about getting
no excuse.
No excuse.
No excuse.
There is really no excuse at this point.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad you said that because there's so many different young people out here that feel that way and they think, I got time. Like that's old people stuff. You hear them say that.
Yeah. I got time and I don't have anything.
Yeah.
Let something happen. You all of a sudden you become very rich.
Absolutely.
People want all that stuff.
Absolutely. Well, we are closing out. I know we have it on our show notes to ensure that we do talk about the gala. So drummer roll. That was my drummer roll with no beat.
Drum roll.
So Mr. Scott is actually one of the galas. So Moneybox Academy will be having our inaugural gala on October 18th. And Mr. Scott, because of his legacy that he specifically left in our community, if you don't know him, then I don't know where you've been at. But his legacy and even the things that he's leaving behind is such a pillar for the financial literacy space. And with Moneybox being a true advocate for pushing all things financial literacy, we felt it an honor to, esteem him with the award of the Lifetime Achievement Award. So on October 18th, we will be celebrating Mr. Scott as the Lifetime Achievement Award at the Moneybox Inaugural Gala. So we get to celebrate all of the work, all of the legacy, and the gifts that you have given to our community. Even right now, what you're doing is providing our community with a gift of knowledge, and that lasts on beyond.
It's going to continue.
Exactly. So we're excited to honor you. You're well deserving of flowers.
Thank you.
And we just can't wait to give you the celebration that we feel like.
Well, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
That's super. And thanks for coming by.
Absolutely. I actually enjoy being here. Okay. So if y'all want me back, let me Scott know. No.
Well, how did we do today? I always ask that.
You did really good. You're at 38 minutes.
38 minutes.
Yeah.
That was a little less than most. Yeah. All right.
Hit the hour mark. But you have 38 minutes.
Okay. We have enough to put out there.
Yeah.
We do.
Did you want to close it out? Come back next time? You might have to piece it together, but because I know we kind of okay.
We're fine.
That's how we ended. Okay.
I think we're good.
All right.
All right. Same time next day. Next that channel. That.
So we're we were doing every other week.
Yeah, but Tom saying he wants hit to that to yes.
Oh, okay. I figured.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like a closeout message. Like
We tell them something. Stay in the same that channel, saying that work.
yeah.
Give you guess something.
Let me find something here that might be interesting. I have a little book that I usually.
You always give them a little Z or something.
Really find something. Okay, I got something here that might work. We're always talking about students and stuff like that. You ready?
Go for it.
Two things as it relates to, I tend to get into numbers, if you will, but this goes along with what we've been talking about, and that is getting students to go to school, match up on things that they would like to do. I think a big thing that we need to emphasize is giving them support to finish school. 11% of first college students finish school. 11%.
It's alarming.
That's alarming. You think we got all these graduates out there. We see this every June or December. They're throwing their hats in the air. When you look at the United States, 11% finish school.
Wow.
First college student. And first college grads are us. That's what I'm saying. We do not, number one, we don't go. And when we do go, we don't finish.
Wow.
And that's staggering. And that comes from UNCF, United Negro College Fund. So it's important to us to actually get with those kids, stay behind them, believe in them, and just hold their hands and never let them go. And that's awfully important. Unfortunately, we have individuals, fortunately, we have individuals that go and they keep going. They come out with 4 to 5 degrees.
Yeah.
That's great. But again, I ask those same people that have those 4 or 5 degrees, and I won't include myself because I'm doing something there.
Yeah, you are.
But what are you doing besides going to school? That sort of thing. So, and important things that need to be done in our community, and that goes down to the kids and staying with them and giving them support. When we look at our children out there, have you noticed that at the first day of school, kindergartners, you got all those parents out there?
Oh, yeah.
First grade comes, now it goes down just a little bit.
And doing those.
Second grade goes down every more.
Yeah.
Up to 6th grade. After 6th grade, you can't find them.
You're on your own.
You're on your own. You can't find them. They're disappeared. What's happened probably is the parents have gone to school. What do you think? Okay. But at any rate, stay with the kids. Stay with the kids.
Support the journey.
It's important. I know with mine, she was so used to seeing me at school, it was no big deal. She would get hit with the kids, her friend, your dad's in school, your dad's in school. And this comes when she was a senior in high school.
Yeah.
I was with her, and then I would go up to see her when she was in grad school.
That's right.
See what the heck she's doing.
Yeah.
And that was important because it was money. I need to find out where the money is.
Where you at?
Yeah.
Where the money go?
Yeah. So I need to do that. So it's important. What are we doing as a people as it relates to some things there? And are we spending our money where it needs to go?
That's the real question. Yeah.
I've got something here where it says, it does say, money bounces. In the white community, 8 times. In the Asian community, it bounces 12 times. In the Puerto Rican community, it bounces 6 times. Jewish community, it bounces 12 times. In other words, this money circulates in the community. We're looking at things as a whole. In the Black community, it bounces 0. We have no leg to stand on. That's something to think about. Yeah. And we need to do something about that. Very important. Absolutely. So I probably took more time than I should have with that.
Well, no, I think it was a great way to close out the segment, was to leave some powerful words and even some stats that align with those words, and really just charge the community with the responsibility with the first part of when your child goes to school, support them throughout that journey. Don't leave them midway. When they get to high school, all right, you good. No, they need support all the way through because, it gets real. And when you don't feel that support, why would you want to finish? Sometimes it's almost like, what's the point? For some young people, it's like, what's the point? And there's pressure. And then as far as the support within the wealth, with our dollars not circulating, being very intentional with our dollars, not recognizing that, okay, when I spend this, when I swipe this card, who is it benefiting? Yeah. And so, like you said, there are other communities that before they spend, they actually look at who's benefiting from this,
Every time.
whereas there's a lack of intentionality when it comes to Black dollars.
Right.
So we are the largest consumer.
Yeah.
There's a stat that we are the largest consumer, meaning our spending, we are that. So we got money somewhere. We spend it,
Yeah.
but it does not show circulated back into our own communities.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, is the lack of intentionality. But I think you closed it off real well. When can people check in back in? When is the next time they could get all this knowledge and wisdom?
Well, I have to ask my producer. Producer, when is my next thing that you're going to hit me up on? She is.
Be back. Same back channel, same back. Just go to YouTube.
Go to YouTube.
Go to YouTube.
The producer said, go to YouTube
I-
and come and see again. If today was beneficial to you, I know it was, because it was even beneficial being in the same space with Mr. Scott. This wisdom and knowledge is not just for you, it's for you to also share with others. This is a part of legacy, is making sure that your kids and your kids' kids know this information. And so don't be selfish. Share this video, because there was a lot of nuggets dropped. Share this video on your social media. Share the link with your communities. Copy and paste it wherever you need to, but make sure you tune back in to this channel, because there's so much wealth of knowledge that he literally is sitting here dropping on these conversations. And we want to make sure that our community is better by it. So
Yeah, that's good. I thank you for coming out.
Absolutely.
And we should have had an intro by the OJs. Money, money, money.
that's it.
Yeah.
Well, look,
We
it
can't-
ain't too late.
We can't play that because we have to play residuals.
That's right. Copyright.
Copyright.
But if we had to sing it, money, 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 money. So grateful for this conversation. And you guys have an amazing day, and stay financially intelligent and resilient as we continue to make sure we put out this information.
All right, great.
Thank you. Mr.
Super.
Scott.
Time.
Very good.